Lexington class. These fleet carriers represented America's first operational aircraft carriers. Originally laid down as battle cruisers in 1920 and 1921, USS Lexington and USS Saratoga were converted to comply with the Washington Naval Treaty. Completed in 1927, they stretched 888 feet overall, displacing 33,000 tons standard. Turbo-electric propulsion generated over 200,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 34.6 knots. Their unusual armament included 8 8-inch guns and 4 twin turrets. The carriers accommodated 80 aircraft. They were the largest carriers in the world until the 1940s. Both ships featured distinctive twin smokestacks on the starboard side. USS Lexington participated in the Battle of the Coral Sea in May 1942, where her aircraft sank the light carrier Shoho. Japanese aircraft crippled Lexington with 2 torpedo hits and 3 bomb strikes. Aviation gasoline vapors ignited, triggering catastrophic explosions. She was scuttled on May 8th. USS Saratoga survived the war, serving as a target during Operation Crossroads atomic testing in July 1946. Saratoga participated in more major engagements than any other U.S. carrier. She survived 2 nuclear detonations before finally sinking. AKGI. This fleet carrier served as flagship of Vice Admiral Chuichi Nagumo's First Air Fleet. Originally laid down as an Amagi-class battlecruiser, she was converted under the Washington Naval Treaty. Completed in 1927, she measured 857 feet overall, displacing 26,900 long tons. Steam turbines generated 131,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 31.5 knots. Her name Akagi translates to Red Castle in English. The carrier was named after Mount Akagi in Gunma Prefecture. She underwent extensive reconstruction from 1935 to 1938. Originally completed with 3 vertically stacked flight decks, the reconstruction created a single full-length flight deck, increasing aircraft capacity from 60 to 91. She featured a distinctive port-side island, shared only with Hiryu. She participated in Pearl Harbor, Darwin, and the Indian Ocean raid. During the Battle of Midway on June 4, 1942, a single SBD Dauntless from USS Enterprise struck her, igniting aircraft being refueled and triggering catastrophic explosions. She was scuttled on June 5th. Her wreck was discovered at 18,000 feet depth. Admiral Nagumo barely escaped the burning carrier before she sank. Kaga. This fleet carrier was converted from a Tosa-class battleship hull after the battlecruiser Amagi was damaged during the 1923 Great Kanto earthquake. Completed as Japan's first large aircraft carrier in March 1928, the Kaga measured 782 feet overall, displacing 33,693 tons standard. Steam turbines generated 91,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 28 knots. She was the heaviest Japanese carrier until Shinano. Her name means increased joy in Japanese. Originally completed with 3 superimposed flight decks, she underwent reconstruction from 1934 to 1935 with a full-length flight deck. Aircraft capacity increased to 90. Armament included 10 8-inch guns. She served as one of 6 carriers during the Pearl Harbor attack. During the Battle of Midway on June 4, 1942, dive bombers from USS Enterprise struck her with at least 4 bombs, triggering massive explosions from 80,000 pounds of stored munitions. The destroyer Hagakaze scuttled her later that day. She burned for 12 hours before sinking. Over 800 crew members perished in the sinking. USS Ranger. This carrier represented the first United States warship designed and built from the keel up as an aircraft carrier. Commissioned on June 4, 1934, the Ranger stretched 769 feet overall, displacing 14,500 tons standard. Steam turbines generated 53,700 shaft horsepower, achieving 29.3 knots. She was the smallest U.S. fleet carrier ever built. Her designation was CV-4 in the U.S. Navy. The Ranger's design maximized aircraft capacity at the expense of size and speed. She could accommodate 76 aircraft. Her small size eliminated her from Pacific Fleet operations. During Operation Torch in November 1942, she launched 496 combat sorties over 3 days, destroying over 70 enemy planes and scoring direct hits on French destroyer Albatross and cruiser Primouget. In October 1943, she participated in Operation Leader, attacking German shipping along Norway. She earned 2 battle stars before decommissioning in October 1946. She was sold for scrap in January 1947. Ranger never fired her guns in anger during the war. Taiho. This armored fleet carrier was the first Japanese carrier designed with an armored flight deck. Laid down in July 1941 and commissioned on March 7, 1944, the Taiho measured 845 feet overall, displacing 29,300 tons standard. Turbines generated 160,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 33.3 knots. She represented Japan's most advanced carrier design. Her name translates to Great Phoenix in English. The Taiho featured 75 to 80 millimeter armored flight deck designed to withstand 1,100-pound bombs. Armor constituted 30% of her displacement, over 8,000 tons total. Aircraft capacity was 63 operational aircraft plus 21 replacements. She served as Admiral Jisaburo Ozawa's flagship during the Battle of the Philippine Sea on June 19, 1944, only 3 months after commissioning. Submarine USS Albacore struck the forward elevator with one torpedo, rupturing aviation fuel lines. An inexperienced damage control officer ordered general ventilation, spreading gasoline vapors throughout the ship. 6.5 hours later, accumulated fumes ignited in a catastrophic explosion. She sank with the loss of 1,650 personnel. Only 500 personnel survived the disaster. The explosion was so powerful it blew apart the armored hull. Shinano. This armored carrier was converted from the 3rd Yamato-class battleship hull after Midway losses. Commissioned on November 19, 1944, she became the largest aircraft carrier ever built, a record that stood until USS Forrestal. The Shinano measured 872 feet overall, displacing 65,800 metric tons standard. Turbines generated 150,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 27.8 knots. She remains the largest carrier sunk during World War II. Her flight deck was larger than 3 football fields. The Shinano retained massive armor, approximately 17,700 tons, constituting 1/3 of her displacement. Designed as a heavily armored support carrier, carrying reserve aircraft, fuel, and ordnance, aircraft capacity was 47 planes. Armament consisted of 16 5-inch guns and over 140 smaller caliber guns. Her career lasted only 10 days. On November 28, 1944, she departed Yokosuka with incomplete watertight compartments and inexperienced crew. Submarine USS Archerfish fired 6 torpedoes. 4 struck the carrier's vulnerable armor joint. Poor damage control allowed rapid flooding. She capsized and sank 7 hours later with the loss of 1,435 lives. She remains the largest warship ever sunk by submarine. Commander Enright received the Navy Cross for the sinking. The sinking became the most successful submarine attack in history. Implacable class. These armored fleet carriers represent an improved illustrious class. 2 ships comprise the class, HMS Implacable and HMS Indefatigable. They measured 766 feet, 6 inches overall, displacing 32,110 long tons. Turbines generated 140,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 32.5 knots. Both were larger and faster than their predecessors. They were ordered in 1938 under emergency war plans. The Implacable class featured a 760-foot armored flight deck with 3 inches of armor capable of withstanding 1,000-pound bombs. They incorporated 2 hangars, both 14 feet high. This low hangar height precluded storage of certain aircraft, including Lend-Lease Corsairs. Designed to stow 48 aircraft, permanent deck parks allowed up to 81 aircraft. Armament included 16 4.5-inch dual-purpose guns. HMS Indefatigable attacked German battleship Tirpitz before transferring to the British Pacific Fleet. She struck oil refineries in Sumatra and supported the Okinawa invasion. HMS Implacable arrived in the Pacific in June 1945. Both carriers participated in raids against the Japanese home islands. The armored flight deck proved highly effective. HMS Indefatigable returned to action 37 minutes after a direct kamikaze hit. Both decommissioned in 1954. They were the last armored carriers built by Britain. Both ships were scrapped in 1955. Ark Royal class. This carrier represented the Royal Navy's first purpose-built modern aircraft carrier. HMS Ark Royal was completed in November 1938. She measured 800 feet overall, displacing 22,000 long tons standard. Turbines generated 103,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 31.2 knots. She became one of Britain's most famous warships. Her motto was "Zeal does not rest." The Ark Royal featured an enclosed hangar design with 2 hangar levels, allowing capacity for 72 aircraft. Her armament included 16 4.5-inch dual-purpose guns. She saw intensive action from the war's outbreak. Her aircraft assisted in sinking U-boat U-39, the war's first U-boat kill. She participated in the search for Graf Spee in Norwegian operations. In May 1941, her ferry Swordfish aircraft crippled battleship Bismarck with torpedo hits, enabling the battleship's destruction. On November 13, 1941, submarine U-81 struck her with a single torpedo. Poor damage control allowed progressive flooding. She capsized and sank on November 14th with the loss of one crew member. German propaganda had falsely claimed she sank multiple times. Lord Haw Haw claimed she was sunk at least 5 times. Hosho. This carrier was the world's first purpose-built aircraft carrier commissioned into service, beating HMS Hermes by 13 months. Commissioned on December 27, 1922, the Hosho measured 552 feet overall, displacing 7,590 tons standard. Turbines generated 30,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 25 knots. She pioneered carrier operations for the Imperial Japanese Navy. Her design influenced all subsequent Japanese carrier development. The Hosho featured 2 hangars with aircraft capacity of 15 operational aircraft. Originally completed with a small island superstructure and 6 small funnels, these were removed in 1924 after aircrews reported they obstructed flight operations. The ship became flush-decked. She played a crucial role in developing Japanese naval aviation doctrine throughout the 1920s and 30s. Her aircraft attacked Chinese positions during the Shanghai incident in 1932. By World War II, she was too small and slow to operate modern carrier aircraft. She participated in Pearl Harbor and served in a secondary role during Midway with 8 obsolete Yokosuka B-4Y biplane torpedo bombers. She spent 1943 through 1945 as a training carrier, surviving the war. She served as a repatriation transport until 1946 and was scrapped in 1947. She trained most Japanese carrier pilots during the war. Despite her age, she remained operational throughout the entire war. USS Wasp. This carrier was built to utilize remaining Washington Treaty tonnage. Commissioned on April 25, 1940, the Wasp measured 720 feet overall, displacing 14,700 tons standard. Turbines generated 70,000 shaft horsepower, achieving 29.5 knots. She was nicknamed the Gray Ghost. Her designation was CVI-7 in the U.S. Navy. The Wasp represented a reduced-size Yorktown-class design, sacrificing protection for aircraft capacity. She carried 76 aircraft despite 25% less displacement. She featured the first deck-edge elevator in a U.S. carrier. Armor protection was minimal, maximum 4 inches over machinery. This light protection made her uniquely vulnerable. The Wasp initially operated in the Atlantic. In April and May 1942, she twice ferried Royal Air Force Spitfires to Malta, launching 94 fighters total. Transferred to the Pacific in June 1942, she supported the Guadalcanal invasion. On September 15, 1942, Submariner 19 struck her with torpedoes.